The doctor said, Mom, good news is she ain't got no STD. Bad news is your daughter's pregnant.
Hey, bruh. Bruh. That is so crazy. Today we are watching 12 and Pregnant Story Time.
Okay, y'all, so this is story time on how I end up pregnant and a mother at 12.
Oh my gosh. Lord.
So my mom sent us to South Carolina for the summer, which we actually ended up staying longer. And my aunt was introducing me to everybody, like her in-laws and all. One of her in-laws is like 17. I want to say he was like 16 at the time. He caught my attention. At the time, I was hanging around people that was older than me. I did not look like I was 11.
What do you mean you didn't look like you were 11? That's like, I'm thinking about like you can tell, but that's just a year later from 10. You gotta look like a kid. Like you gotta look like a kid. There's no way.
So my aunt was introducing me to everybody when we came down here for the summer. And mind you, I have one older brother and two younger brothers, and everybody's older than me, and I grew up with nothing but boys and some girls. My older cousin, she was about 17, 18 at the time. She told me that I need to be in a child's place and stay away from teen boys.
Most definitely.
I didn't think nothing of it, so I was hanging around with everybody. But again, y'all, this one boy caught my attention. He was, at the time, I thought this boy was fine, bad to the bone. I'm running out of time. Okay, y'all, part two. So after my aunt finished introducing us, they told us all to go play outside. I'm a tomboy. Again, I grew up with nothing but boys. So at the end of the day, I was playing outside with them. Then we started playing hide and go get it. I did not know what the fuck that was.
Hide and go get it. Too fast. Growing up too fast.
Okay? I did not know. So we playing hide and go get it, and I just so end up happened to be with him. So he's helping me through the neighborhood while we're playing, because it was a big ass neighborhood. And then we ended up back in my aunt's house. Now this is the part when we start talking to each other and asking like actual questions, like how old we were and all of it. Now we started going over our ages. I told everybody that I was 10 turning 11. So it's not like people did not know how old I was.
Wow.
But again, y'all, I told y'all I did not look my age. I looked
You
older.
didn't look 10 years older?
And then he was just telling me how pretty I was, how cute I am.
Oh my gosh. How old was this nigga? 17?
And me being 10, I did not know exactly what that means. Okay, y'all, I am
this
running
nigga's
out of time.
fucking sick.
Part 3. So now we're talking about how pretty I am or whatever the case may be.
That nigga's fucking sick.
At this moment, we're hanging out even more. I'm hanging around them even more because my mother done lied about us being in South Carolina only for the summer. It ended up being for the damn school year. So now here I am entering the 5th grade. Just started my period and all. My mother talking to me, letting me know about period, being pregnant, boys, all this stuff like that. So I'm just listening to my mom like, nope, I'm not getting pregnant. I'm not having sex. I'm not doing none of that. Can't nobody talk me into doing that, okay? But again, y'all, I liked this boy so fucking bad. So here I am hanging around them now all the time because now I live in South Carolina and I'm going to school in South Carolina and I'm seeing them all the time. I'm going to football games, basketball games, everything. So now, this is the night that it happened. So he had a football game. And of course, because in my head, that was my man, I went to the football game. And let me tell y'all something real quick.
How old is
Public
this
service
nigga,
of
bro?
fucking announcement.
17, right?
This man was claimed to be my man because we were already together. Okay, y'all, part 4. So this is the night that it happened where I actually lost my virginity. So after the football game, they came down to my aunt's house because at the time we were staying with my aunt. And nobody was home. Nobody was home at all. So since nobody was home, of course, a nigga gonna sweet talk you out your draw. And again, I'm 11. So, mind you, we've already been kissing and whatever the case may be. So now we're kissing and touching and whatever the case may be. And now it's time to do the do. Of course, me being me, I was scared as fuck. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I like this boy. And I was told by the boy, if you love me, you would do it. The worst mistake I did.
This nigga's out of there.
Did, okay? So now he said that, and I'm like, damn, I love this boy, so let me go ahead and do it. So we ended up doing it. This was the first time ever that I did the nasty. No protection, no none of that.
Oh my god.
So we didn't use protection, and you know, in my head, I'm like, if I'm on my period, I can't get pregnant, and that's what it was. So now at this point, we're having
thinking
sex.
that at 11, bro. At 11, I wasn't thinking about none of that. I'm outside playing with on bikes and shit, bro. My mom had me on 24-hour surveillance. This is crazy, bro.
Okay, y'all, part 5. So now at this moment, I'm having sex with this person constantly.
Oh,
because
man.
in my mind, this is my man. So now fast forward to November, I'm getting thick. And y'all, when I say I'm getting thick, like my boobs are growing bigger than what it is. My butt is growing bigger than what it is. And I already have an ass. So now he's looking at me. He's like, what we going to do with that? I'm like, what do you mean? So I started to notice I'm sleeping more when I get home from school. Like, I'll do my homework and I'll go straight to sleep. And my mama started to notice something was wrong. So, y'all, I had a little pudge or whatever case may be, which I'm not known to have a pudge. So my mom looked at me. She was like, something ain't right. Let me check you. So my mama laid me on the bed and checked me down there, literally. And I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Like, why you checking me? What's going on? So this is a constant thing. We're having sex. I'm being sleepy. My mama checking me, whatever case may be. So now we get to my birthday, which is in January. Okay, y'all, I'll post part 6 in the morning. Y'all ready for part 6? Okay, y'all, so now fast forward to my birthday. Me and my mom got the same birthday, and we took a picture together. My mom sent the picture to my aunt in New York. My aunt in New York was like, something don't look right. Kiara is getting bigger, and I'm never big. So then my aunt in New York was like, y'all need to go get Kiara checked. She look pregnant, and if y'all don't get her checked, I'm calling DSS. So,
Damn.
that was the 7th of January. Fast forward to the 27th. My mother called me off the bus on the 27th, my full government name in front of everybody in the front of the neighborhood. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, chill, you embarrassing me. What's going on? She took me to the hospital. And she was like, we're going to get this test done so that way we can prove everybody wrong. A few hours go by. The doctor said, Mom, good news is she ain't got no STD. Bad news is your daughter's pregnant. I'll post part 7. I'm sorry, y'all. Here's part 7.
Say, bruh. That is so crazy. That is so fucking wild, bro. It's a lot of shit wrong here, bruh. You ain't like I get it. Like, but no, I don't, because, and I'm saying I get it in regards to like the parents possibly being busy and not around, but bro, my mom, she worked late as shit. She worked all fucking day. And somehow she still had me on, so like as a young kid, like strict. You feel me? To the point my family would be like, bro, you need to let up some. Which she could have, and I probably should have been good. But when I look at it now, I see why my mom made sure of certain shit. Like, there was no possible way that something like this could have happened. It couldn't.
So now my mom in the hospital flipping shit. She calls my dad to let him know that I am pregnant. Of course, he's crying and doing the most, as he should as a father.
Right.
But then now my mother is asking me, who is
who? Because he about to die. He dying tonight.
I try to keep it in as long as possible. Then I just broke down and started crying even harder and told her who it was. So then we went to his house where him and his parents live. And my mother's telling his mother and his father, like, listen, your son got my daughter pregnant. And he burst out in tears. His mom almost threw him out the window. My mother ended up calling my aunt down there. And because my aunt was pregnant as a teen, she flipped. So I'm sitting in a chair and she literally jacks me up. Mm-hmm. And my family's like, why did you do it? Why did you have sex? And I'm like, because I wanted to try it. Everybody else was doing it. I had an itch. That's what I said. I'm running out of time. Part 8 coming. I told you I was coming back with part 8. So after everybody found out that I was having sex with him, and now that's going to be my baby daddy, my mama was like, hell no, she ain't having this damn baby. Mm-hmm. His family was like that too. Mm. So my mom was like, we gonna need to do what we have to do so that way we can go ahead and get her this abortion. Mm. So everybody know end of January, tax time comes, right? So my mom was waiting on her paperwork to come.
They ain't had no money.
Come in, and she went to go file her taxes. So my mama took me to doctor's care, if anybody know what that is, just to see how far along I was. Doctor care took blood, and they was like, okay, she's only 3.5 to 4 weeks pregnant. Okay, cool. But now my mama taxes didn't come in on time, so now we have to wait 2 more weeks. So that would make me 6 weeks. So we're waiting on, her taxes to come in. And then they finally came in, okay? I'm running out of time, y'all. Okay, part 9.
Damn.
So her taxes finally came in, and I did not go to school. So she told me we was going to Georgia. And I'm like, okay, why are we going to Georgia? She was like, so you can have the abortion. So in my head, I'm like, why we just can't do it in South Carolina? And she was just like, certain amount of weeks, you have to do it out of state. So now, me, his mama, his daddy, his aunt, and my mama going to Georgia. So we cruising to Georgia, and now we get to the abortion clinic. So the lady is like, how are you doing? How many weeks are you? Now, at this time, I'm 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Oh, man.
So now, we're going over everything, and she's talking to me about how the process works. So she lays me on the table, and my mother is standing beside. So the girl lays me on the table, and she has the vaginal ultrasound. So she goes to stick the vaginal ultrasound inside of me. And then once she stuck the vaginal ultrasound inside of me, okay, y'all, part 10. So now she's sticking.
She having a good ass time making these videos, bruh. She having a good fun ass time making these videos, ain't it?
Ultrasound.
Leaving cliffhangers and shit, bruh. Shit.
And of course I'm hurting. So she takes it out, and she was like, I know it feels uncomfortable. We're gonna do a different way. So now she gets the other ultrasound. If you ever been pregnant, they put it on your stomach. So she goes to putting it on my stomach, and she like pressing hard down too, trying to measure the baby, see, hear the heartbeat and all. Then she goes and said, uh-oh. And I was like, uh-oh, what? She was like, nothing, Mom. I'm gonna go ahead and double check before I tell you anything. So she get the double checking, and she getting writing stuff down, and I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at my mom, looking at me, and we looking at each other. She was like, Mom, she's not gonna be able to get this abortion. And my mom was like, well, why the hell not? She said, because your daughter is 5.5 months pregnant. I was like, oh hell. Part 11. So now my mom is hella pissed. And I'm
5.5 months.
Then I get up,
pregnant.
Fix myself and go out the room, and my mom is coming behind me. Then his dad sees me storming out the building, and he comes and hugs me. And I just start crying even harder. And he was like, what? What happened? You don't want to tell me right now? And I'm just shaking my head like, no, I'll tell you later. I don't want to talk about it. So now we have to drive back to Columbia. And we get back to Columbia, but instead of them dropping us off home, they took us to their house. And they're like, well, we need to figure out what we're going to do with the baby. And I'm just crying. I kept saying, I don't want the baby. I'm too young. I don't want a baby right now. Then they asked him what he thinks. He's looking at me like, I want to keep my baby.
Wow.
I got to come back for part 12. I swear. Part 12. So now that we are at the house and discussing everything that's going on with the baby, I decided to tell them I'd rather give my baby up for adoption. I don't want her to be around my mom, who's an alcoholic. And once I mentioned the reasons why, he was just like, no, I'm going to be there for my baby. I'm going to take care of my baby. Doing all this extraness. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, this is about me. This is not about you. I don't want my baby in a family. No. Nowhere around here, no. So now he's basically trying to plead his case, him and his people, trying to plead his case about why I should keep the baby. So my mother was like, at the end of the day, I already tried to make her have an abortion. I'm going to leave this up to her. So my mother was like, we can go home. You can think about it because I don't want this stressing you out. So we left, and I went home, and I just cried my eyes out. Y'all are so hilarious. But yeah, here's part 13. So now, of course, I've been thinking about it. It's been several months I've been thinking about it. My due date is May 17th. So I'm like, at this moment, I got to make a decision for real, for real. So, me and him conversated on the phone on what we wanted to name our child.
11.
He wanted the name Raven. And I was just like, okay. But ultimately, it's still my decision since I'm the mother. And then me being in love with him, in my head, I was like, damn, if I do keep this baby, me and him can be together. We can raise this baby together, whatever the case may be. Then my father got involved. And I'm the only girl. And when I tell you the definition of a daddy's girl, that was me. My father was not playing none of that. My father was like, you're not going to impregnate my daughter. She's only 12. And now you talking about you want to raise a baby with her? All I know is my dad hired a private investigator. And it went downhill from there.
Oh, shit.
Okay, y'all. So part 14. So like I said, my dad hired a private investigator. And at this point, I'm being homeschooled. So that was, the second semester of my 6th grade year? So the private investigator comes to my house and introducing himself. And he lets me know, like, yeah, I spoke with your father in New York, and he told me about the situation. Now he's wanting me to elaborate. Now the private investigator is telling me how it all works, so whatever the case may be.
What is he gonna do?
Then he goes and showed me pictures. And now the pictures he showed me was of my daughter's dad and some other boys and even his brother. So now the private investigator is like, okay, so your dad told me the situation. I need you to let me know which one of these are the people that you slept with. And I'm like, and if I tell you, is he going to get in trouble? He was like, no, he's not going to get in trouble, but you should still tell the truth. I was hesitant, but I was like, it's the private investigator. So I picked his picture to let him know. Part 15. So the private investigator took the notes down and then left my house. I want to say it was like a week or two later. My mother gets a call from his parents, I want to say, saying that police just went to the school and they arrested him. So now here I am, again, in love with this boy, crying, like, no, like, what did
that
my
nigga, that nigga said, boy, fuck that. He said, nah, fuck that, I'm on that.
He done messed up my chances of being with him. It was a lot. And then my mother was like, okay, I need to call your father so we can see what's the plan. So now the private investigator is, talking to my mom, talking to me, and talking to my dad. And they let us know, like, okay, we did arrest him. And I want to say he was like in 10th or 11th grade. And this whole time, we're still in communication with the PI.
Fucking oddball.
And did I mention it had to be like a few weeks before my due date? Part 16.
10th or 11th grade, this nigga's a fucking sicko, bro. This nigga is a fucking sicko, bro.
So now here he is arrested. And of course, I'm pregnant as hell. And prior to
manipulating this 10-year-old girl, gang? Fuck is wrong with this nigga?
I had conversated with my dad. Y'all, when I tell y'all this, please don't go in. I did not want him to be in jail. My mother also did not want him to be in jail. My mother was like, at the end of the day, he was 16 turning 17 when we were sexually active. But he was already 17 when we found out I was pregnant. And she was like, he cannot do nothing for his child behind bars, so why are we locking him up? And then because he was 17, my mother was like, he's also a child. She did not agree with what he did. But taking him out his child's life was not sitting well with her. So again, a few weeks before I gave birth, my mother did help him with posting money to his bail. Now, he may say otherwise, but my mother did help. And then, of course, y'all, he got out. And now it's getting close to part 17. So now he gets out of jail. And when he gets out of jail, it's about the time for me to go into labor. So now I'm in labor. And it's his aunt, my mom, and then one of my friend's mom was there. My friend's mom didn't stay, but it was just my mom and his aunt. So now it's time to push. My mom's holding my leg on one side. His aunt's holding my leg on the other side. So I done pushed my baby out after being snipped down there because I was too small. And then, of course, my mother cut the umbilical cord. Now, y'all, remember I said he went to jail. His charges were criminal sexual conduct with minors, 2nd degree. Mm-hmm. Being though that my father pressed charges on him, we could not be in the same room and could not see each other. So while I was delivering my baby, he was not there. But he did come up to the hospital after I gave birth. Again, we could not see each other, so they had to close the curtain. Now, here's the part where I made the decision to keep my baby. Because, of course, I didn't talk about 18. So after he comes to the hospital and he sees my baby, I decided to keep my baby. Now, I didn't decide to keep my baby because he was there. I had decided to keep my baby while I was pushing and my mom cut the umbilical cord and they put my baby on me. I just couldn't fathom the thought of me carrying a child for 9 months and then giving her up for adoption after I done gave her life. And of course, I was just so emotional. So I told my mom, I said, Mom, I can't do it. I want to keep my baby. She was like, that's a hard pill to swallow, but it was my decision because I'm the mother. So now it comes to the part where we're naming the baby. Again, he wasn't there. He had to leave because we couldn't see each other, and his peoples wasn't there after that. It was just me and my mom. But his people wanted to know if I was giving my child their last name. I was thinking, for what? What do I need to give her y'all last name for? So I told my mom to tell them she's not getting their last name and she was getting my last name. And again, I'm 12. Y'all, this is part 19. So like I said, I did not give my child their last name. So I came up with my baby's name. I named her myself. I gave her my maiden name and all. I wasn't no stupid little girl now. About my baby, no. She not just about to have her dad's last name just because you done helped me made her. Now I'm like, you got to show me why she needs your last name. Remember earlier when I was like, he wanted me to keep her? So now she's kept. So now, you know, it's a few days in the hospital. They calling up there trying to check on her or whatever the case may be. We tell them she's doing fine. And then, of course, a few days go by and then they discharge me. So now here I am, just gave birth, 12 years old, recovering because I got stitches down there. And now his family and everybody want to come down to my house to see the baby. Of course, me being me, I didn't have no problems because I'm like, that's her side of the family too. So, of course, they can come see her. Y'all, this is crazy.
Fucking insane, bro. I'm taken aback, bro.